Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general reading for the sign of Libra, Sun, Moon or Ascendant for the month of December. I hope you are well. We're using the Pagan Otherworlds Tarot for you today. Here it is. And just a little bit of housekeeping before we start. If the reading resonates with you and you would like to go a little bit deeper, there will be an extended that you can access at the end. That's the first link in the description box. The second link in the description box is to the 6-month overviews that I've completed for each of the signs. It runs from January to June 2023, and they're coming in at roughly 3 hours long, so excuse me, they're quite thorough. If you're interested in that, like I said, that's the second link. The third link is to my community, my private community over on Circle, the Order of the Phoenix. One of the benefits of joining that at the mid-tier is that you get access to all of the extended content for no extra cost, and that's across all of the signs. That's not just limited to yours. So if that's something that you're interested in, third link in the description box. So let's have a look and see what's going on with you, Libra. Cards for Libra, please. We have the Chariot in your recent past. Current energy, please. Shit. Okay. Judgment. And what's coming towards Libra in December, please? Oh, that one. We've got the Page of Swords. We've got the High Priestess at the bottom of the deck, and I think it's clear to say that at the moment there's some big moves that you're looking to make, some big life-changing decisions, I think, that you're looking to make, and you seem to be coming at it from a really intuitive perspective, which I like very much. It's like, what feels good? What's your intuition saying when it's speaking? What are you drawn to at this point? Because like so many of the signs, in fact all of the signs that I see, in the 6-month overviews that I did, it was clear that every single sign was going to be going through some sort of phenomenal accelerated development over the course of the 6 months of 2023. And I had said initially when I did those that I felt like January was the point where most of these things started rumbling for all of the signs. But now I've been doing these December readings, I can see that the pre-shocks are actually starting here, which is not to suggest that you're all having, hideous tower moments or anything like that. Quite the reverse. It's that there seems to be a change of mindset that is snapping into place for each of the signs, and it's creating this fertile bed for all the changes that come next, what comes after here. So let's get some clarifiers and see what's going on with this. Tell me about the Chariot, please. We have the Ace of Swords. Very nice. Tell me about the Chariot. We have the Two of Pentacles. I like also. Tell me about Judgment. Why is that here, please? Fucking hell. Right. We've got the Lovers card. Wonderful. We've got both cards of huge decision making. And then we've got the Nine of Wands. And tell me about this Page of Swords. Why is the Page of Swords here, please? We have 8 of Cups and the 2 of Cups. Page of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. Let me flip this around so you can see what I'm looking at here. All scruffily laid out. I'm sorry about that. We'll straighten it out, right? So here we go. The one thing that was really interesting to me when I did the meditation to connect with your energy before I started the video rolling, as some of you might know, I use these little coins here as my little point, my focal point of meditation, was just how hot that got and how quickly that happened. It always is an indication to me that there's something afoot, like something big is happening here. There's a lot of energy being put into what happens next. So when I saw the Chariot card come out first, I was not in the slightest bit surprised. To then see Justice coming out and the Lovers and all of these other cards, I'm not surprised in the slightest, because like many of the other signs, what you appear to be doing at the moment is looking at ways in which you can pull your sovereignty back to you, right? What is it that you want to do with the rest of your life, and how can you start today? That's the kind of energy that I'm feeling off you, Libra, except that it's already happened. We've got it here. The Chariot card is a card of success. It's also a card of determination. It's a card of setting a goal and knowing where it is that you are going, right? And navigating your way there. It is showing up here with the Ace of Swords and the Two of Pentacles. And I feel like what is really at the heart of this shift that you're looking to bring about for you, and it could be anything from changing your job, changing where you live, changing status from employed to retired. You've got to take it as it resonates to you. Is this single point of truth that seems to be this epiphany, if you will, that just seems to have arrived in your mind. And that is that time isn't slowing down. Time feels like it's going faster, actually. And so the question is, what do you want to do with the rest of the time that you have left? Now, that can be sometimes, a rather abstract position to be in. I remember the first time where I really, truly considered that, not just what was happening in my future, but how much time do I have left and what do I want to fill it with, was at the age of 38, I think, where I realised that if I was lucky, I maybe had another 35 years left on the planet. And was I going to spend them doing the same things that I've been doing for the last 10 years, the last 20 years? Well, no, absolutely not. So what was I going to do instead? It's this focusing of the mind on not just where you want to go, but the journey that you want to take while you're going there, Libra. So this big epiphany that's happened in the recent past, and by recent past, I do mean it could have been as early as this morning, just any time before you have seen this video, up until about, 6 weeks out, something like that, is that nothing is going to change unless you change it. And so what are the logistics of doing something differently? If you knew how much time you had left on the planet, what would you fill it with? Because I feel like there's a certain amount of complacency, a certain amount of being on the hamster wheel that you've been dealing with for the last few years. And it strikes me that it's now you're ready to break out of that. You want quite off that hamster wheel. And so the possibility of doing things differently, or doing anything differently, everything differently, is now on the table. It's up for consideration. Tell me about this Two of Pentacles, please. A Wheel of Fortune, right there. I mean, that in its first instance is a teaching moment for me. Here is something that you have learned, but it also talks about the changing your fortunes, whether it is by things coming in as a kind of deus ex machina from the edge of something, or more realistically, it's about you changing your fortunes because you've worked something out and your energy has changed internally as a result, and the outside world changes to reflect that. So where has your vision been too narrow? Where have you been looking at the floor? And how could you lift your gaze? These are the kind of questions that I feel you might not have been asking yourself in these terms, but I feel like this is the theme that is running underneath it for you. Are you content to do what you're doing now and what you've been doing for the last year, the last 2 years, the last 3 years? Are you content with continuing on in that vein? You know, as a cardinal sign and cardinal air to boot, the fact that this Ace of Swords is here, I think, is really important because it's having you point in a direction. Like, you're the initiator. You don't wait for people to give you permission to do things. Like, if anything, you have to give yourself permission to do these things. And it seems like this is what's happened. And as a result, everything is opening up and everything feels now very possible to you. It's this really strong set of energies here that you're working with. I love it. So then, when we move into your current energy, what we have is the Judgment card with the Lovers and the Nine of Wands. Now, to have the two cards of major decision making appear in your reading right in the here and now says to me that everything that I was feeling here about all the options being open to you, nothing being off the table in terms of what it is that you choose to do next, is reflected by the presence of these two cards, because they kind of read the same thing, but they're nuancedly different, right? Certainly in the way that I'm interpreting them right now. They have other interpretations and they are quite different, but where they align, where they dovetail here, is on decision making. This is about big life-changing decisions, bringing your judgment to bear and changing something quite dramatically for the better, like one thinks. The Judgment card, in some ways, I feel, is a little bit of a memento mori. it's a little bit, this too shall pass, we all shall return to dust, or what am I going to do in the meantime? How am I going to occupy my time? Is it doing the same thing that I've been doing for the last 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years? Probably not. No, I'm not actually sure that that's what I want anymore. So I'm going to do something different. Now, the Lover's card, this card of Gemini, this is Aries and Scorpio. I feel more Scorpio than Aries, to be honest, because sometimes cards just hit you that way, and that's Scorpio for me all day long, right? This is Gemini. And what this one talks about is the same thing, is making a big decision, but because it's conscious co-creation, what you've got is the act of stepping up and making the decision in the first place. It is not between this thing and that thing, or, should I do this or should I do that? It's the actual state of stepping up and contemplating not only that there is a decision to be made, but that you are the person to make it. Do you see how that works there? Now, that's feeding in underneath here into this big energy of huge changes that you're making for yourself in the here and now. But then we also have this Nine of Wands. Now, the Nine of Wands varies in meaning between boundaries and also resilience and needing to fight and all these kind of things. But look at the image here on this card. I actually get very little in the sense of that. There's something almost... Well, there is. It's a defensive position that we usually see in the Nine of Wands card. Maybe preparing for an offense position, even though you're fucking tired and you don't want to do that. What we've got here is something much more gentle. The wands are there, illustrating a boundary if one was necessary. But look at what she's cultivated at the bottom. It's flowers. And what I feel here is that there's been a shift in, and this is perhaps the real nexus of the issue. There's been a shift in doing what is right for other people, or certainly doing something from a state from a state of responsibility for other people. Was that not what came up for you last month, Libra? I feel almost certain it was. Because I noticed that there was some sort of resistance to the idea that there was something that should be walked away from for the preservation of your own sanity and health. There was something that you needed to move away from. But there was something in that was challenging your perception of yourself. It was challenging your identity, who you thought you were. And how in your head there was this aspect of you that wouldn't do that, and yet here you were in a position where you felt like you had no choice but to do that. And then, by extension, what did that say about you? What does that say about your identity? Right? It felt like a really challenging energy. I'm really glad I've remembered about that. And so this shift here in this Nine of Wands is like, well, I'm going to do what's right for me. Right? I'm gonna grow my own flowers down here. Right? I need a boundary. I need to be resilient, but it doesn't always have to be a fight. It doesn't always have to be burdensome. Sometimes we can make a really, really pretty display out of these things. It's about you and what you have chosen for yourself. Even in some ways, just to the extent of being in a position whereby you can choose for yourself. We've got the Hanged Man. There's some big change in perspective that's happened for you recently. It's the Pisces card there. And the Tower. Now, I have to say, I do feel like there have been almost all of the signs, not all of them, but almost all of them have had the Tower appearing somewhere. And again, it's this kind of nod to the fact that what is changing next year has its roots in what is going on right now, possibly has its roots in what was going on around about the time of the eclipse for you, which was November the 8th. What was going on then? What was filling your mind? What was occupying your attention? Because I feel like you are breaking away from it. Right? In the here and now, that is what is happening. We've got the Seven of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, which is absolutely speaking to a situation that has been hitherto completely imbalanced. And you've been presented with the option of doing nothing and keeping it the same. And by doing nothing, I mean doing largely what you've just been doing this whole time anyway. Or pulling out of it altogether, putting yourself first. This Hanged Man and this Tower feels like an amplification of an energy that you have here. Because this might be the initial epiphany, but this is where the consequences of all of that have really come to your attention. Well, I don't need to stay in this country. I don't need to stay in this job. I don't need to be here picking up the pieces for somebody else that I am, not responsible for. However it resonates for you, this Hanged Man, this change of perspective and the wisdom that is gained as a result is what allows you to bring the Tower. And the Tower is making a decision that is based purely on what is right for you, not on anyone else at all. I mean, obviously, there are going to be considerations that need to come in for that. But it isn't about you shelving anything that you possibly thought you might have wanted from your life moving forwards anymore. Now, when we've got what's coming towards you in December, we have the Page of Swords, and I like this because it does indicate a new way of thinking about the world, right? For me, it's about mental expansion. It's that point of putting together lots and lots of little dots. If you like a whole series of points, maybe a whole series of Ace of Swords, where suddenly, again, everything is expanding. Your worldview is expanding. What is possible for you is expanding. And we've got the Eight of Cups and we've got the Two of Cups. And it's a funny old push-pull thing that we've got going on here, because the Eight of Cups suggests that you are leaving something behind. And I think that we've already established that, the eggs that you're going to have to break in order to make your omelette are shown here by the Judgment card and the Lovers card and the Tower card, maybe even to an extent the Hanged Man. So that's not really much of a surprise, but we do have a reunification here with this Two of Cups. Now, I just want to pull another card here for this, because you seem to be walking away from something and walking towards something else. Right. What we have in the Eight of Cups is a situation or a relationship that doesn't really work for you anymore. It might have had some sort of emotionally supportive aspect to it in the past, but now it is just, it's just burden, We've got the Justice card at the bottom of the deck. It's like bringing things into a state of balance. And what is good for, everybody else, the emotional support aspect, which I feel you have been doing the donkey work with. I don't think it's other people supporting you. That you're quite willing to walk away from that, but you seem to be walking towards something that is much more fulfilling for you. Tell me about this Two of Cups. Thank you. We've got the Queen of Wands. That's strictly Aries energy, but it could be a fire sign. Doesn't matter if it's male or female. Tarot doesn't give a shit about gender. And we've got the Hierophant. What we see is you committing to both committing to a new way of experiencing the world. It feels like you're almost giving yourself permission to experience the world in a way that you haven't done in a while. But also the possibility of you being drawn to another. Now, this does not have to be a romantic or sexual relationship. The Hierophant does speak sometimes to marriage, and so it's possible that if you've been holding yourself back from wedding someone or asking someone to marry you or whatever, then this could be the month where you're like, actually, no, like I know what is important. I know what I want to fill my life with, and it's my relationship with you. I want to put this on a formal footing. I want to make this official. That's possible, but obviously that's not going to be for all of you. For others of you, it is committing to those people who really do give you something. It's the level of reciprocity and intimacy that is experienced in the Two of Cups, which is a little less present in the Three. Right? It's diluted here, and there's so much work for you here with this set of people. Over here, this is about your really important one-on-one relationships. Like I said, it doesn't have to be romantic, doesn't have to be sexual. It could be the relationship that you have with your kids. Maybe you've decided you want to move a little bit closer to where they are. Maybe you've decided, that you want to spend more time with these with lifelong friends that you have, people who have really brought value to your life over a number of years. That's possible too.
But this sense of taking your energy away from where it's diluted and focusing it on where it's more circular, right? It's much more reciprocal, remains really strong. And what I really love about all of this is that it's been underpinned by this High Priestess. Because with the best will in the world, Libra, if you've made your mind up about something, or if you're labouring under some sort of misapprehension at any given point, you know, you're all in on that. And people can come to you and they can say, well, I think that you're wrong because of this reason. And if you're of a mind, you'll completely disregard everything that they say and you'll carry on exactly as you're going. Because you're cardinal there, right? But what's happened here is there's been some sort of interruption from your intuitions, from your emotions. It seems to have come from within, but maybe it's come from above. I mean, you'll know better than me how you're experiencing it. And that has been the thing that has catalyzed the change in your mindset, right? It's opened your eyes to things that you did not see before. And your very swift mind is putting all of these things together. I mean, your card is the Queen of Swords after all, right? And it's come to a set of conclusions that would have been completely impossible for you to contemplate 3-4 months ago. And I love that because it's changing where you're going. You know, sometimes the Tower can be quite a terrifying energy when it hits, but it's so welcome with the deadlock that you've been in for a while with yourself has now been broken. And so the realization of the options that you have and just how much there is out there for you, particularly with relationships that are really important to you, like those which you really wish to almost recommit to. It's really strong. Let's get one more card for this Queen of Wands and Hierophant. That's 3. Behave. We've got the Ten of Pentacles, we've got the Justice card, and we've got the King of Wands. Now, I'm going to take all 3 of those cards because I think they really beautifully sum up what is going on here. Like, not only do we have you right in the centre there, as you are, Justice being the card of Libra, we've also got this sense of something that is being balanced. And what is being balanced is everything that you have worked for, everything that you have committed to up until this point. That's what we see in the Ten of Pentacles. And then what you want to do moving forwards. Right? In order for you to be balanced, it can't be one or the other. And I think that it's been more of this for the longest time than it's been of anything else. But you seem to have had the spark of adventure reignited in you. And it's like it's taken all of your energy and it's thrown it in this direction over here, being like, actually, the world can be your playground. Right? On whatever scale you're thinking about this, the world can be your playground. Why the hell are you sitting here doing the same thing that you've always done? In the same way, with the same people. This is tremendous. It certainly explains to me why the coin got so hot so fast. It's like you've made contact with your passion again, and it's lit everything up. You feel like you've got something to be excited about now. And you might not have even settled on what that is, but it's the excitement of the liberation, of the freedom to be able to choose that for yourself. You can't put a price on that kind of thing. Right, Libra, I'm going to leave it there. If you are interested in going a little bit deeper into December, then by all means do feel free to follow me over to either Circle or over to Vimeo to investigate that a little bit more. Please don't forget about the 6-month overviews. I think that they're really important. I would not have dedicated, 37 hours of recording time plus all the fiddling about with uploading and compressing and doing all the other shit that I do, if I didn't think that they were worth listening to. So yes, I shall leave it there. Know that I love you all very, very much, and I'm really impressed. I'm really proud of this. This is cool as shit, Libra. Know that I love you all very, very much, and I will see you soon.